Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where today I'm doing this eyeshadow look using these two palettes. This is Cotton Candy from BH Cosmetics and this is Flare from Ace Beauty. This is one of my favorite palettes. I love the Flare palette. By the way, this is the old formula. I don't think I mentioned that later in the video. This is the old formula and I still love playing with it. If you want to see how I did this eyeshadow look, I hope you will stick around. If you've never been here before, hi, my name is Rachel. I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom and I love to play with colorful eyeshadow. I upload many videos every week. 3, 4, 5 videos a week, no problem. If you like to see this sort of thing and you want to see more, I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing and hitting the notification bell before you leave. Now, let's get going. For today's look, I have a very specific color scheme in mind. I want to do something that's really bright orange, and I think it's going to play off nicely with my teal colored shirt, but I think that I want to do a teal crease and do a half cut crease. I haven't done a half cut crease in quite a while. It's been a minute. I'm not sure how this is going to work and I don't know how it's going to look. Hopefully it looks nice. I have two palettes. I've got the Orange Sorbet palette and the Flare palette, BH Cosmetics and Ace Beauty, of course. Also, I have a microphone clipped to my shirt because the weather is officially cold. It was like 20 degrees this morning and my heater is running. And usually when my heater runs during videos, I quickly run and turn off the thermostat for just the rest of the video. But it's cold in the house. The baby's upstairs supposed to be napping, and I don't want to freeze us all out while I make a video. So please let me know in the comments if you find this microphone to be helpful, if the audio quality is any better, and if I should continue doing this, or if it's just not making a big difference. Let's get started. I primed my eyes already using the Glam Light Icing Primer. I'm going to start with a dense blending brush from e.l.f. and I'm going to dip into the shade Forest Pine from the Flare palette. And like I said, I want to do a half cut crease, so I'm starting this in my outer corner, but I'm going to bring it all the way towards the bridge of my nose. I am actually kind of nervous about how this look is going to go today because it's been a while since I did a half cut crease, and that's not my concern. The concern is the colors that I'm choosing. I definitely want a really bright orange sort of thing, but I thought it would be fun to add a bit of drama and depth by throwing in a teal shade as well. And I don't know, I want to push myself, right? Challenge myself with color. Let's see how it goes. I also wanted to talk today about some things that my eyeshadow hobby has given me that I wasn't really expecting. I got into makeup because it was helping me tap into my creative and feminine side at a time in my life when I finally figured it out. At a time in my life when I was running a machine shop full-time, and my days would be spent getting oily and greasy and dirty and getting metal splinters in my hands and my arms and working outside in the elements and getting super sweaty or super cold and having my glasses slide off my face with sweat, and it was just a very physically messy sort of job. With a looser blending brush, I'm going to dip between the shade Moss and Cider. I'm just going to go back and forth between the two shades. And then I'm going to use this to buff out these edges a little bit. So I was running this machine shop full-time. It was the business that my husband and I had started. And then when we moved to a new state, we took it with us, but he also got a full-time job. So it was up to me to run the shop. I finally realized that it was at that time in my life where I started getting into eyeshadow. And I think it was because I have other hobbies, like I have a small art business. And I had a desk set up in the house that had all of my art supplies. But when your arms are covered in machine grease and your hands are covered in tiny little splinters and your fingernails are dirty and grimy, you don't want to sit down at an art desk working on paper or canvas or fabric and try to make something beautiful. I needed to get completely cleaned up in order to do my other hobby. That is the point at which I started getting interested in eyeshadow, because eyeshadow was a low-cost hobby. I could go spend $15 on a ColourPop palette and a few other supplies. YouTube videos abounded for instruction and inspiration. And I could be creative and play with color in a way that didn't require that I get really clean, and in a way that wasn't messed up if I got dirty. I keep hitting this brush on a color switch because I want to blend out these edges, but I don't want to bring in more product. Remember when you're doing a half cut crease that your crease needs to be dark. So that's why I brought the color so far in, so much further than I usually do. So eyeshadow was a great option for me to be creative, play with color, tap into my artistic and feminine sides, while still doing what I needed to do as far as helping with our business. That's why I got started doing it. And I have found it to be a very rewarding and fulfilling hobby. And I wanted to talk about some of the things that eyeshadow in general has brought into my life that I wasn't expecting. I took some of my concealer and I put it on the back of my hand. Now I'm dipping into it with a flat and small brush. And I'm going to put this at my lash line for the first, I don't know, third or 2/3 of the lid. The reason I'm putting it at my lash line is because each time I try to carve up, I tend to either overcarve or undercarve or misjudge where my crease and my fold really is. But if I put it at my lash line, and then I simply look up, it creates the line for me. So now I just need to take what's on the brush. Sorry if I'm bringing the mirror really close. And I'll connect the lines. Some people are really good at cut creases. I'm not, but I'm probably not terrible either. Now that that's drying, I'm just going to take my finger and tap it on the edge. Dipping now into the orange Sorbet palette from BH Cosmetics, I want to use 3 of the shimmers. So I've started with the shade Yum on a brush, and then I sprayed it, and I'm going to put this on my very inner corner. And because this is a cut crease, I'm going to be careful, for once, to actually line the shadow up with the cut of the concealer. This is a very light tone, but it'll make a nice inner corner. Now I've grabbed the shade Citron, same process, and I'm going to put that on the inner third here, next to the Yum shade. Another thing that I have appreciated about my eyeshadow hobby is that, yes, it's low cost of entry, but it's also a low space hobby. I mean, there are a lot of hobbies out there, right? You could love horseback riding and need a barn and a field and a farrier and all those sorts of things. But eyeshadow doesn't take up a lot of space. I mean, if you have an enormous collection, then sure, it starts to take up some space. But that's not where I am. My collection is pretty small. I mean, compared to a lot of collections I've seen, mine is pretty small. And it fits in a little cupboard in my living room. That's where my palettes are. And then I have one box, which is all of the other supplies. Literally everything else, including blush and highlighter, everything's in this one shoebox. So the fact that it's low on space I appreciate that, because I don't like clutter, and I don't like to take up tons of space with things, and I don't like the idea of requiring this huge amount of space or an entire room of my house just to house my makeup stuff. I'm going to flip the brush now and grab the shade Tangy and do the same thing, except now I'm going to finish filling up the lid space where I've cut it with a concealer. Here we are with the shade Tangy. Playing with eyeshadow has opened up a new world of community to me, which I wasn't really expecting or anticipating. I just figured, hey, I'm going to do a pretty eyeshadow look and put it on Instagram. I actually started by putting it on Facebook. Nobody cared. So I thought, well, finding a community of people who do care would be a better way to share my interests. So that's what I did. I started an Instagram account for that reason, and eventually I started this YouTube channel. And it's been fun to build community, to meet people who have a common interest. You might not have other things in common, or you might, and you might make great friends, but you all have eyeshadow in common, or the desire to be creative and express yourself. And I think that's really awesome. I have so enjoyed meeting people, I mean, through the internet, but still meeting people, right? Meeting people and chatting in the comments of my videos or the comments of other people's videos, or even the comments on Instagram posts, and say, hey, what do you think of this? Or making friends and you private message each other and talk about eyeshadow. It's given me a community which I didn't have before, and I've really been blessed by that. I'm dipping back into Moss and Forest Pine in the Flare palette, just back and forth, with this brush that I used to lay down Forest Pine shade originally. I'm not putting down tons more product, I just want to buff a little bit into this shimmer formula. I don't have a shimmer in this palette that would help me transition. I could easily grab another palette, but I almost had 3 palettes for today's video, and I thought, nah, let's keep it to 2. So I'm just working this gently with a little bit of powder product. Another thing eyeshadow has given me, which I think I was expecting, but it's so much fun to see it fulfilled, is to teach me to embrace color. When we grew up, our parents painted all the walls in the house bone white. There was very little color in the house. And as I grew, realized that I liked color. And so I started, you know, having colorful clothes and stuff. And then when I got married, I decorated my own home with colorful things. And I went a little bit overboard. I started painting all the walls. You know, like I liked this deep red shade, so I painted all the walls and the trim of a very small room, this deep wine burgundy red shade, and it was a lot. It was a lot. So I kind of went the other direction where I'm like, my childhood colors were kind of boring, so then in adulthood I'm like, let's paint everything. And that went too far in the other direction. And now I feel like I'm finding a settling point in the middle, which is a balance between how I decorate my home and clothes that I wear, and now the makeup that I might put on my eyes. And I have so enjoyed this process too, because I might choose to wear a neutral colored outfit, but throw on a really bright eyeshadow color, and it just changes everything. It brightens my mood. It makes me happy to wear color. But if I have neutral clothes, I can wear any colors, right? It doesn't limit me. And then I might put on a colorful shirt and find a makeup look that matches, or do a look that contrasts, like, you know, teal and orange. It just, I don't know. It's just been so much fun to dip into color and explore and express myself and find this new side of my personality that when I was a kid I didn't even know existed. And just dip into who I am and round myself out a little bit. It's been fun. With a small pinch brush, I really want to take the shade Saffron from this Flare palette and run this on my entire lower lash line. Oh, look at how pretty that color is. I thought I could grab a similar shade from the Orange Sorbet palette, and there is a similar shade in there. But it's a little bit more pinky based, and I did not want pink. I wanted orange. Truthfully, this is more vermilion. I love it. And for one little final twist, I'm going to take a small pencil brush and dip into the shade Sherbet. I almost grabbed the Oceanic palette for this look as well. And there was a really bright neon-y sort of yellowy green in that as well. But I want to use Sherbet. So I'm putting Sherbet right here. Look at that. Look at how fun. It's like a radioactive yellowy green color. I love it. If ever you want to blend out a color and you don't have a neutral tone, you can take a translucent face powder and just put it on a small blending brush and hit the edges of the color that you want to buff. It just helps soften it a little bit without adding in a new color. It doesn't even add in a neutral because it's just a simple face powder for setting your face. The only time I ever use this powder for what it's intended to be used for is, oh, I can't reach it. Oh my goodness. Baby belly's getting in the way. Is when I put concealer on under my eyes, then I take a little face powder and just, you know, on one of these, you know, and pop it into place. But I can use it now and then. I actually used it up here, right here, when I thought the line was too harsh. I just dipped my brush into the face powder and buffed it out. All right. That's looking a little bit wild, but I think it'll be fun once I match the other side. I'm going to go off camera and finish everything up, and I'll be right back to show you how it turns out. Alright guys, here is how it turned out. I love it. I love it. It's so weird and funky. It makes me think a lot about the Lush Life palette from ColourPop with these dark blue green tones and then the orangey, I don't know, goldish sort of colors. I think it's really pretty. I think it's really fun. I did a winged eyeliner, and in my waterline I used the metallic-y yellow shade Can Do It from ColourPop's Creme Gel Liner series. I have ColourPop lip oil in the shade Hot Spark on my lips, Nomad Cosmetics Positano Sunrise highlighter, and I did this for a bronzer, which is Physicians Formula Light to Medium Glow Boosting Baked Bronzer. And then I have this Milani peachy sort of colored blush in the shade 901 Luminoso. All of these products are linked down below in my description box, along with the palette and anything else that I may be wearing. I think the look is pretty. I think it's fun. I'm so pleased that I pushed myself a little bit and challenged myself to do something a bit odd, because my original plan today was to just do a lot of orange, just a pretty much monochromatic orange look. And I thought, no, I want to challenge myself. I want to bring in some of this teal color that I'm wearing, and I don't know how it's going to work out. But I think it's fun. I think it's pretty, and I really like the look. There was one more final thought as far as things that starting my eyeshadow journey or hobby or side interest has brought me, which was unexpected. And this one's a little bit goofy, but I didn't always remember to wash my face before bed at night. I know you're supposed to. I know it's good for your skin, basic hygiene, but I didn't always remember. I just didn't. It was not a habit. But ever since I've started wearing eyeshadow, I know that I have to wash off my eyeshadow, because if I don't, I'm going to get an eye infection and I'm going to smear color all over my pillow and I'm going to look like a raccoon in the morning. And there are so many reasons why you need to wash off your makeup. Clogs your pores, bad for your skin, etc. So ever since I started doing eyeshadow, I have remembered to take coconut oil and wash off my eyeshadow and whatever else I may have, and then put some soap on my hands and wash my face. And this is something which really amuses me, that I didn't always remember to wash my face before, but starting a little makeup side hobby has reminded me to have that basic hygiene taken care of before I go to bed at night. And I don't know, I just wanted to mention that as a final thought. I appreciate you guys being here. I hope you enjoyed the video and the look. Comment below what you think. Comment any ideas or thoughts or suggestions. I do take subscriber requests. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more, and until I see you next time, which will be soon, of course, I hope you have a great day. Bye!